As the wind erodes and the water corrodes, altering everything we think we know, but we don't. It's all temporary, and it used to, but now the thought doesn't scare me or keep my feet from following one after another until I slumber. Then my mind, not my feet, wander and dream of people and places I'll never see again. I've mended as much mental anguish as I can, and now I try to use this language to take these thoughts from my head to my pen. Cause though I don't speak of my dead friends or the circumstances, often the blow never softens or yields. I'm in a desolate field, lonesome stargazing, night blazing, chasing traces of remembrance and reverence of relevant friends and acquaintances, and faceless and nameless names and faces. And while my mind is racing through these photo albums and quotations, all these people and places far from me, for only land and stars I see when I'm outside of the Mile High City, which is not my city, for I was born 1,000 miles northeast of there in the land of beer and lakes and pistol fire on MLK's birthday, where there is no minorities and segregation's mandatory. But that's a whole nother story altogether, and no matter the weather or hardships that any place brings, I'll still laugh when people shiver and say it's freezing, or say, hey, no, wait, I already had 18 mixed drinks, but I guess it's a Midwest thing, and I'm a mess from a dirty city and brought most of this filth I've gathered with me.
Welcome to Experience Andy Weins live at our new time, 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. This week, we're going to be talking about practicing prioritization. Last week, we talked about how do we prioritize those things that matter. This week, we talk about how to impact and affect change week in, week out, day in and day out, so you can reach out and touch those BHAGs.
My work labors on as lovers sleep in each other's arms, remaining calm and collect. I begin my self-reflection process of redemption. Honestly, I don't know where this road leads, or if I'm even going. Could be rowing upstream, or worse, chasing my dreams to the peak, to finally be somebody doing something with what I have, rather than saying again and again that I can't and I won't anymore from this day forward. Cause Lord knows the past is set in stone, the present is yours to mold and to use for future uses. I know I'm a nuisance, I'm told, cause I'm neither young nor old, nor giant nor gnome. I don't sleep on these streets usually, though I've made thrones of my own. I don't sit well with idle hands, though don't know what to do when I'm home all alone. I'm a menace thrown from society, and as it lies to me, I'll smile silently as others do as they please. I am watching and listening, and I'm grinning all the while, cause sometimes all you can really do is smile. So as the work labors on, I'll keep on singing my songs, and this day's never done. We just keep on spinning around that sun, and well, through all these miles and trials, all I've learned to do is smile. Is to smile.
Here we are, another week in the books, another week to start off right and prioritize and ultimately practice what we do best. Couple announcements as we kick off the show here. Yes, we have switched now to 15:30 or 3:30 for the civilian types PM Central Standard Time. Works out better on my schedule, and we're testing to see if we get more viewership being a little bit later in the day for all people across the country. So there's a couple of reasons behind that, so we're doing that. Second announcement, we had 3 total announcements this afternoon. Second announcement, this is the first time we're saying this ever. Words fucking matter. Retrain your brain to use language that serves you. Available now on Amazon audiobook. For all my non-readers out there that want to get all of this material, it's in there. It's on there. It's available to download. It was about a 4-month process from the time I wrote my book till the time I sat in the sound booth for the first time. So we're really excited. to have that available, right? Because the way that we digest new information is different for every single person, right? Some people read, some people watch, some people listen, some people can meditate, right? There's different methodologies and modalities there. And so what's important to me is that as a speaker and a presenter, I can take the same information and present it multiple ways to reach a different audience. So available online. I'm extremely proud of that because it was a lot more work than I thought. I have a background in radio and recording a book of your own words. Man, that'll fuck with you. Imposter syndrome creeps in. You question everything you've ever said, and listen to yourself on playback is, at least for me, listening to myself on playback isn't something I love doing. And yet it was a necessary part of the process. I'm so happy that I did it. I'm glad I made it a priority, and I practiced and practiced what I preached, and I'm really proud of the product that came out. Third piece of announcement, effective today, I can finally announce this. The Titan 100 here in Southeast Wisconsin has selected me as a 2024 recipient of CEO business leader Titan within my industry. So I'm really excited that I can finally announce that and celebrate that. One of the things that I struggle with and have historically, it goes back to my PI index, which is being a maverick, is we often assume victories, we achieve them, and we move on to the next thing and move on to the next thing and the next thing. And when we have the victories, we don't always take the time to celebrate. So I was made aware of that a couple of years ago. And so now, whether it's victories that our team here at Camel Crew Junk Removal does, it's things that my daughter does or my family does, or it's things that I've been able to achieve. It's really important to me that I stop and embrace those moments because, if we're doing all this grinding and working and we have, we don't take the time to celebrate, it's like, what is it all for? So there we go. All right. Those are our announcements. Now we can get into the meat of the program. Last week, we talked about prioritization and the one piece from my book that I want to bring back from last week to give us the baseline foundation is this idea of pain, right? Where do you get your priorities from? And often it's from pain. Last week at the Young Guns Fall Summit, both speakers talked about defining purpose. And they both said, start with pain. What isn't working? And so one of the words we often use, and I'm guilty of it as everybody else, is we use the word should. I should lose weight. I should go to the gym. I should treat people better. Whatever the should is in the world. And we talked about in this book, do not should on yourself, do not should on others, and do not shouldn't all over the place. And so this is the foundation. Should, obligation. Could, opportunity, right? If you had unlimited resources available, time, money, energy, what could you do? Let's start with this ideal of abundance. Okay. Now let's bring it down to reality. What can you do with the resources that you do have available today and potentially to acquire more resources for tomorrow, right? And what will you do? That is the commitment we're talking about. Now, last week, we broke that all down and we said, here is our commitment. Here is our priorities. We're going to transform pain into passion to define our purpose. We're going to have priorities wrapped around that triple P effect. And this is what we will do. And the will do has to be an action item. It's not often what ends up happening is people often talk about the result. Well, I will lose weight. Okay. What will you do to lose weight? That is more interesting because that is controllable. And I would argue, we'll use the weight loss thing. It's kind of a universal thing. When you put in the work and you say, hey, I'm going to start eating right. I'm going to start sleeping right. I'm going to start hydrating more. I'm going to start working out rather. All of a sudden, the number of weight loss is so less significant because you're feeling better. You're trying new foods and exploring new foods. You're hydrating more and you're sleeping better. So maybe you're less irritable. And maybe you go to the gym and you end up gaining weight from a math perspective, right? Because you're putting on muscle and lean muscle weighs more than fat. And all of a sudden you actually put on weight and yet you're happier and you're healthier and you're sleeping better and your cortisol levels and your stress is lower, right? So what will you do? Today, we're going to talk about how do we practice that? What ends up happening? I'll throw some numbers out there. There's some strategy. We'll talk about 3 strategies. And for my strategies, right, we'll use my 3 steps to success at life, which is do the fucking thing, tell the fucking world, and show the fuck up. Those are the 3 steps of success at life, and I'm gonna use numbers behind those 3 things, right? So let's talk the top first one. Do the fucking thing. It takes 21 days to form a habit. And for every one day you don't do something, it takes 2 days to get back on the bandwagon. So first, 21 days. I've been talking about my journey the last 18 months. Every 90 days, the beginning of every quarter, I have put something in place in my life to have better physical health, because I know when I have better physical health, I end up having more energy and more mental health, and I can be a better father, a better business owner, a better significant other. I'm a better person when I take care of my physical health. So this quarter, it is do not drink coffee within 90 minutes of waking up. And so far, I am on 1 day. I am back to day one as of today, because yesterday when I woke up, I made a cup of coffee like I do, and I got on with my day. So I back to day. I am back to square one. I went 4 days at one point where I remembered every day, didn't, and now we're back to day one. So it takes 21 days to form a habit. Do the thing and acknowledge when you didn't do the thing. Why didn't you do it, and what can you do about it? Often we'll say, oh, I missed yesterday. Well, why did you miss yesterday? I can tell you, it being Sunday, the reason I missed yesterday on it being Monday, yesterday on Sunday, I forgot. I straight up made my Keurig cup of coffee in the morning, drank it. I got my half through my cup. I go, yep, it hasn't been 90 minutes, right? So now what I did this morning was I put a decaf cup next to the Keurig, so that I would not forget. So I saw decaf. I made myself decaf. Then I was like, oh, yep, you woke up at this time, 90 minutes from now. This is when you can have your regular coffee. Boom, done. Right? I did it. And when I failed to do it, I understood the why. And what can I do about it? Right? I can set a reminder on my phone. For me, it was real simple. Put a decaf K-pot out with my cup, because I always want to cut off the cup on the night before and make sure the Keurig's full of water. So that was it. That was the simplest fix. And this weekend I was at my girlfriend's house. So when I woke up and made coffee, I wasn't even thinking about it. So I just made regular coffee. So there it is. Do the fucking thing. First thing. Second thing, tell the fucking world. Tell somebody. And here's why. You are 42% more likely to complete a task when you tell somebody else. Or that's correct. When you write it down. That's what it is. Write it down. 42% more likely to do something when you write it down. You are 78% more likely to do it when you tell somebody. So tell somebody. The first person you have to tell is yourself. Write it down so you can see it, so you can look at it. I have chicken scratch pieces of paper throughout my desk that remind me of the things that I love and the things that I surround myself, and then the parts and pieces of my next book. I have a whiteboard right now. It says practice right there, because today was about practicing. So all day I looked at it and I said, okay, this is what we're doing. And ideally, you write down your SMART goal in a place where you can see it, and then tell somebody else. 78% more likely to complete a goal or a task when you tell somebody else. Put it in your calendar and share it with somebody. Last week at Young Guns, we had several people make commitments to themselves, SMART goals, and then we said, who is your accountability partner? And somebody else was their accountability partner. And then the third thing is show the fuck up. And this is where it's, for me, the very process-oriented thing. You can do it, you can tell people, and then when you complete it, how do you get more of it? How do you sustain that growth? Some people will take on, often politicians, I'll say, will take on the simplest task first, right? They want to get this big bill signed or this big, whatever legislation pushed through. They'll take on the simple stuff. They'll go with the generic stuff. They'll build momentum up to, now I'm going to get buy-in from my constituents to do this really big thing that may or may not go over well. That's one methodology, right? Start simple, start small, do the things that are achievable today to build momentum. Marketing is a lot like that, right? Do the little things and then build it up to something really, really big. Fine. Other methodology, and this is more from a business perspective, what is the number one thing that'll move the needle the farthest, the fastest? Do that. So that's a second methodology. And often, actually, I'll bring an example from President Trump, and I'm not endorsing him. However, I do recall this, that when former President Trump took over from Obama said, hey, you're probably going to war with North Korea first. And he said, okay, well, why? And Obama explained it why. He goes, okay, well, that sounds like my top priority. And if you recall, within 2 years of his presidency, he went to North Korea. He met with him, and it's because no president had met with the president of North Korea in quite some time and sat down and had a relationship. So Trump took on the hardest, most difficult, most complicated thing first, and then after that, everything seemed less. And so in business, this is often the best course of action. What is the biggest thing in your business that will move the needle the most? Because when you take that on, everything, you're going to be like, oh my God, I took on this beast of a thing. I slayed the dragon. Everything else after that, simpler, right? Prioritize there. Third methodology of prioritization is close your eyes, think about the thing you want to do the least. It doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to move the needle the most. It is the thing that for some reason you are afraid to do. It could be a matter of scarcity. It could be a matter of lack of confidence. It could be it could be a matter of being insecure. Do that thing first. If it's asking to grow out, do that. If it's calling the relative that you haven't spoke to in years and you wish you had a relationship with, it's that. It's reaching out to the friend that you lost touch with. Do that. If it's the email you have to send to a coworker or your boss that you know isn't going to go over well, do that. Do the thing that scares you the most. Andrew Huberman, who talks about quite a bit, his focus is on neuroscience and sleep and the effects. He says within the first 90 minutes every morning, do something that scares you, and it'll prep you up and prepare you for the rest of your day. Do the most difficult thing mentally first. Even if you reach out to somebody you know that's not going to get back to you, do that. Because then you take away all that time and fear and space in your brain that would otherwise be occupied by this fear or this doubt that you're not going to get done, this thing that's bothering you. When you do these things, tell somebody, celebrate your victory. I started at the top of the hour here, or the bottom of the hour, because I guess we're starting the 30. At the bottom of the hour, top of the show, I talked about Titan 100, and I have to think about that today. Like, okay, I'm going to put this video out. What did I do to earn this? I hate the word deserve, because deserve is subjective. Earn is a little bit different because it's a little more objective. Earned it, and I put myself out there. I've taken some chances. I've lost at the game of life and lost at the game of business quite a bit, and yet I'm still here. Yet I'm still pushing forward. I've closed businesses. I've shut down podcasts. I've fired employees, right? Like I've done all these things that were of loss, that were failures, and yet I still got up every day and pushed forward. And that's the challenge I give to you all, right? Find the thing that scares you and still push forward. Take on that thing that's going to bother you the most. And then when you slay that dragon, celebrate it with others, because they are the ones that supported you getting there. When you take something off your list, check it off, right? Put okay, here's my BHAG. This is the thing I want to achieve. What did I do today to make it happen? Well, I used to work for we're going to talk about now timetables. That'll be the last thing we talk about. Be remiss if I didn't talk about timetables, because time is relevant, right? We all get the same 168 hours in the week, and I like to break things down on a week basis because that is, to me, the most controllable amount of time we have. And so I had this thing where I worked for Black & Decker. I was a sales rep, and I would go into Home Depot stores and I would re-merchandise their stores. And what people would often say to me, or what the rule was, you walk around the store, you do your store walk, you write down all the things that needed to get done in your store. So you had the things that you knew, the new initiatives. Then you say, okay, this product is out of spec or whatever. I got to update that or whatever this, right? The rule was anything that took you less than 5 minutes, you did on the spot, because you push around my cart and I have my little toolbox there. And I realized I got so much more done in that first 2 hours, right? Your store walk was supposed to take about an hour. Talk to the people, do the thing. Mine would take 2 hours. I would spend 1 hour doing the walk. I would spend 1 hour taking things off my list, and my list would be like 3/4 done. And I'm like, oh man, I got like 6 more hours here to take care of 15 things that I knocked out 45 things, because it took 30 seconds here, 3 minutes here, 2 minutes there. I had to talk to the supervisor here and say, okay, can I do this thing? Sounds good, right? It was a less than 5 minute task. That worked. And so EOS, I've been studying EOS recently and understanding it. And almost everything EOS does, which is the entrepreneur operating system, they talk about where your goals in 10 years, 5 years, 3 years, 1 year, 30, 90 days, 60 days, 30 days. Those are all the places you put these goals and the initiatives. And then your rocks, the action items, are 7 days. That's it. What are you going to do in the next 7 days to achieve that 90-day goal? What are you going to do in the next 7 days to achieve that 10-year goal? 7 days. Check in with yourself, check in with your team. What did you do in the last week to achieve that goal? And when you do something every single week, one thing, it's 52 things you've done this year that you didn't do last year by not prioritizing it. So, as you guys join me on this journey every single Monday, this is the thing I do. I put aside 15 to 20 minutes every single Monday to go live, to get uncomfortable, to share my ideas with the world so that I earn the right to share the stage with Jordan Peterson. I earn a spot on Joe Rogan's podcast. I earn a full-time career in speaking and consulting. That's where I'm going. I've said it, and I'm going there, and I'm putting the work in and day out. And let me tell you something. All three of those scare the hell out of me. It's scary to think, what would I do someday when the company, Camo Crew Junk Removal, is killing it and running, and they don't need me? What do I do in the morning? Right? What's it going to be like getting on a stage with someone I look up to? What's it like getting on a podcast where millions of people listen and everything I say will and will not be held against me? That is scary. And that's getting there. How do I even get there? Getting there is scary. And that's interesting. And I come here every week and put in the work to get that. So again, going from the top, what will you do? What are you willing to do? What can you do today in less than 5 minutes? What can you get done by the end of today? And what are you going to get done by the end of this week? When you prioritize and when you make a plan, 5-minute plan, a 1-day plan, and a 7-day plan, you will get 150 steps closer to that next goal, the big goal, whatever that may be. Buying a house, starting a business, selling a business, quitting your job, retiring, taking on your next career. All those things are one step away. The challenge to you is, are you willing to take the step? As always, I do thank you for coming on, watching another week of Experience Andy Weins Live. And as we know, the 3 steps to success in life are simple. Do the fucking thing, tell the fucking world, and show the fuck up.